Okay, so this is my playthrough for Skeleton King, the board game. So right now I don't actually have anybody to play with at the moment because I just moved to a new state and I don't really know anybody here. So you have two tokens. I'll be playing against myself. So the skeleton tokens. Um, these are your. This represents each player a token. Then we have our treasure cards and our hero cards, and these will be the event cards that we would make visible whenever someone lands on an event square. I don't have a dial counter, so pretty much you could use a piece of paper to keep track of the skeletons, and for each hero you destroy, you get a soul that's depicted on the card itself, and it'll have his HP as well, as you can see. I'll put this at the bottom now since I pulled it. Okay, so starting the game, let me just. So you'll start out with one soul and three skeletons. Each player starts out with one soul and three skeletons. So I'll just keep track of them like this. You could use kind of tallies if you want as well, but I'm just gonna write physical, like actual numbers. Okay, so to start the game, people usually roll to see who goes first, but since it's just me playing, I'll just start off with this one here, and it goes this direction. So you roll the dice, and I go 2. So you can see there's the treasure squares, there's hero squares, and the graveyard square. The way they work is the treasure square, if you land on it, you'll pull a treasure card, and they specify how you can use it. Each card will specify if you land on a hero, you'll have to battle a hero. In graveyard, you get to add a skeleton to your skeleton army. The point is to reach, so the point of the game is to level up to become Skeleton King. The way it works is you start off as a wandering skeleton. It's kind of written down here. Then you go to like warrior skeleton, skeleton knight, skeleton champion, and skeleton king. To go from wandering skeleton to warrior skeleton, you just have to spend one soul. But since you start with one soul, if you spend it at the beginning of the game, you'll have 0 left, and you could possibly die. So it wouldn't be the best decision to go. Having zero souls does not mean you lose the game. You lose the game whenever you cannot pretty much pay a soul if you're attacked or take damage. So if you have 0 soul and then you take damage, then you can't. You'll die. But if you pretty much going into the negatives makes you lose the game. So to go from wandering skeleton to warrior skeleton, you have to pay 1 soul. To skeleton knight, it's 2 souls. To skeleton champion is 3, and skeleton king is 5. So yeah, pretty much I think it's about 10 souls. You should let's see. Yeah, something around there, like 11 souls, I believe. But that's how you win the game. The first player to become Skeleton King. So I rolled 2. I landed here, and I'll get my card. So this says, it's an artifact, Gravekeeper Coffin. During your standby phase, you can choose one player, and they lose 1 soul until their end phase. This effect can only be used on one player at a time. For pretty much what it's saying is, when I can play this, artifact cards stay with you throughout the game unless something happens where you lose that artifact. And what this allows me to do is during my standby phase, I can pretty much temporarily have a player lose their soul. So if they were at 0, this would pretty much knock them off the game. But if they were at 1, they would have 0 until that player's end turn. So pretty much everyone will go, and then when it comes to their turn, at the end of their turn, they'll get their soul back, and I can only use this on one player at a time. So as long as one soul is already out of the game, then I cannot activate this on another player the next turn. Even if I get an opportunity to activate it on another player, I wouldn't be able to do that. So, okay. Usually you wouldn't want to show your hand to your opponent, but since it's just me here, it doesn't really matter. And then so doubles do not make you go again. I know some games allow doubles. You get to go twice. It doesn't happen in this game. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Lands on a treasure. Choose a player. Target player loses an extra soul if they are leveling up. So this is a curse treasure, which pretty much means you're allowed to play it on an opponent's turn. So it's more of a kind of a trigger that they can't see coming, kind of like a trap card in Yu-Gi-Oh, things like that. And another thing I don't think I meant, well, I did mention it, that you have to spend souls in order to level up from like all the way up to Skeleton King. So this is a good way, say for instance, a player uses all their souls to level up, and then you play this card on them, and they have to utilize an extra soul, and they won't have an extra soul to use, so you can probably knock them out the game that way. But also, just to say, for instance, you have another play to where you just want them to have one less soul. This could be useful in that scenario. Okay, so we haven't landed on any graveyards or heroes' tiles yet. So currently, right now, we're just walking around playing a game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and now we hand on a graveyard, and I'll get an extra skeleton. I don't know how I'm going to keep track of which one is which. I should probably switch these out. I'm going to switch this to another token so I can keep track of which is which. And he gained one. I think I'm going to start using the tallies right now because it will make it a lot easier. So, this is player 1, this is player 2. Player 1 is at 4 for skeletons. 8. And now we land on a hero card. So, okay, he pulled one of the more powerful heroes on the first go around. But the thing is, he does have 3 skeletons, and this is 3 HP. So he will go down to 0 skeleton, but he does defeat it, and it gets an extra soul. So he's now at 2. You don't necessarily have to write down the souls because you keep the card just to show that it was defeated. So it's yeah, you don't really have to. And when you spend them, they go back into the deck. But you can keep track of it this way if you wanted to as well. All right. But he's now at 0, so if he gets hit again, he will lose a soul. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Another treasure. If you lose the gameplay. So we have instant rebirth. This is one of those, because the way the game is designed, it's really easy to get knocked out. So you're probably going to have a couple of these cards in here, which is instant rebirth, which if you lose the game, play this card, and you come back in the game with 1 soul and 3 skeletons. Pretty much just like a reset. This is a lost type treasure, so that means you can only play it on your turn, unlike the cursed treasures. So actually, I have this card, which is my artifact, and I've never activated it, but I'm going to activate it and put this soul. Well, it only happens during my standby phase, so I guess I'd have to use it next turn. I can't use it now. Okay, so treasure. Gain a soul, lose your next turn. So, very useful. He could use it on his turn. Alright, so now that it's this turn again, I'll have activate this artifact and have this soul be gone until the end of his next turn. Until this end turn comes. And now I'll roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's time to face off against a hero. And look, got a relatively weak hero, which is pretty easy soul to capture. He takes 1 HP, so I lose 1 skeleton, but I'll gain a soul. And down to 3 skeletons. Okay, his turn now comes. This one is, one of his souls is currently locked up. He had 2, so this one's currently locked up. I could roll, yes, definitely. 1, 2, face off against a hero. Oh, this is bad. he has no skeletons, so that means he's going to take damage, and he's going to lose a soul. And one of his souls were locked up already, so that means he's down to 0 souls. So he didn't defeat it. He didn't defeat that hero, so it goes back into the deck. He's now down to 0 souls. 0 souls currently, but one of them is going to be unlocked at the end of his turn. So I guess he ends his turn now. He'll get his soul back. And in this one, it's now my turn, and I'll use this ability again to lock up his soul. This is kind of a little bit broken when it's a 2-player game. That's probably work a lot better with multiple players, because like now at this point I'm just going to use it every turn. Might nerf this card. Okay. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Another treasure. So this is a curse. Target another player's artifact treasure. That artifact now has an extra ability that during target player's standby phase, they lose 1 skeleton. This is very powerful. Okay. So I'll hold on to this curse. So currently in my hand, I have a soul. So get this soul. Did I count it? Destroyed. No, I never counted my extra soul. So this is at 2. But the skeletons are at 3. Yeah, correct. Alright. That's this one's turn. It's not his end turn, since that's kind of sealed away. He's currently at 0 soul. So be very dangerous for him to make a move now. So you can play this card, which is you gain a soul and lose your next turn. So I'll go twice on the next turn, but he'll gain a soul. So he's up back to 1, which he's going to get back the other one, and he'll go back to 2 at the end of his turn. But he loses his next turn, so that means he could still roll this turn. 5, 6, 7, 8. Dark Days, an event has happened. So Dark Days event. All heroes has 1 less HP until another event is landed on. If a hero's HP is 1 by default, it stays the same. So now all the heroes are weaker, and it's going to allow all players aiming to become Skeleton King to level up a lot faster. Alright, so he gets his soul back because it's the end of his turn. It's now my turn again. I'm definitely going to use this card again. A bit broken, but hey, this is the beta. And he loses his soul is then sealed up again until the end of his turn. Then also, since I have 2 souls, I think I'll spend 1 and level up to Warrior Skeleton. Now, leveling up doesn't give you any immediate buffs or anything like that, but it does. It's necessary to win, so it's something you gotta have to think about how you spend your souls wisely. Do you want to play the long game? Are you rushing towards leveling up? You have to take that into consideration. So right now, let me just keep track of that. He's leveled up to level 2. I'll just put that there. And level 1 here. Those in the corner. It's kind of hard to follow with the levels and things. I might have to make a specified sheet to say what's happening. But right now, just bear with me. Okay, so let's roll. 1, 2, 3. Another treasure. These treasures are coming very often. So this is a curse. All players lose 1 soul. Right now, I just spent the soul to level up, so I have only 1. I wouldn't want to lose that yet. I wonder if there's anything else I can do. Okay, none of these are going to help me immediately, so I hold on to them. Okay, other player, he loses his next turn because he used that seal thing, and then he'll get his soul back. So he's currently, I believe, at 2 still, but he can't do anything. There's my go. Obviously, seal that soul away. My artifact. I do need to nerf this. It's very powerful. 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Another treasure. Artifact. If you lost any skeletons this turn, during your end phase, you can bring back 1 skeleton into your army. You can use this card as a skeleton in your army when it battles, put it into the deck and shuffle. So pretty much, as long as I have this artifact, every time I get in a battle, that end of that turn, if I lost any skeletons, I can get 1 extra skeleton back. And also, say for instance, I have like one skeleton and I have to battle a hero that has 2 HP. I could use this artifact to count as another skeleton, but then it will go into the deck. So I'll probably activate this on my turn when it comes back around, since you have to activate your artifacts during your standby phase, unless it specifies otherwise. So since I already rolled, it's no longer my standby phase. I have 1 soul, so I'm not going to go level up. I don't have enough. And I don't think I have anything that can affect him or help me right now, so I guess that's the end of my turn. Rolls. Sean leaves his turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Faces a hero. Man, you have not been getting the best luck. You've been facing a lot of heroes and not been gaining any skeletons. See, level 3 Arctic Wolf. You have 2 souls and no skeletons. This is not going to help you now. Oh, I should have played. Oh, yeah, I did it on the turn that he couldn't go again. So that's kind of why he couldn't play that. Yeah, so he's just going to take damage and lose a soul because he has no way of defending. And he's down to 1 soul, which is currently locked up. So he's kind of at 0. It's going to be a relatively quick game, it seems. Because if I'm the only player left, I kind of instantly win even without coming Skeleton King. But, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another treasure. I just been landing on so many treasures. Choose another player and take 1 of their souls. And that is going to be game next turn. Because I'll definitely use this artifact ability again. And, well, he has no souls to seal up. Right? No, he did have 1. Because, yes, I'll seal that up again. So he's technically at 0. So if he, I guess, in any kind of battle this turn, he loses. But while he's rolling, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Draw. For as long as you have the least amount of souls between all players during your standby phase, you may choose to roll with 1 or 2 dice. If not, return this card to the bottom of the deck by your end phase. Okay. So he can't activate this turn, though, because he only can activate during his standby phase. But it's kind of game over because I'm going to play this card, which is a curse, which I can play on his turn, choose another player, and take 1 of their souls. Since he has no souls left, that is game. And that is Skeleton King. I think he'll play a lot better with more people, mainly because this card right here was super broken in this round. I'm definitely going to nerf it. It needs to have a lot more limiters on it. But, yeah, so that's the game.